invite to stand. Dear guests,
peradaban kita bangunkan.
Our Prime Minister has arrived. Kindly
bina kota, bina insan.
standing.
Dari budi jadi budaya. Bina asas kemampanan. Kesejahteraan masa depan. Ayo seluruh anak bertiwi, bangunkan Malaysia madani.
Alright, some updates. We would like to announce that attendees to continue your food, enjoy your food, because our Prime Minister is still
tetap saja hati yang satu di gadai, jangan tergoda bintang di awan. Kalau terbitnya di siang hari, jangan tergoda bintang di awan. Kalau terbitnya di siang hari, Cina merpati makan di tangan, jangan dikurung di sangkar hati. Cina makan di tangan, jangan dikurung di sangkar hati. Seribu senyum, seribu mada, mungkin dikuntum racun yang bisa. Seribu senyum, seribu mada, mungkin dikuntum racun yang bisa. Kalau terkorban jiwa merana, hati yang sekedar-kedangan. Kalau terkorban jiwa merana, seribu sesal apa gunanya? Merdu didengar, indah dipandang, awaslah umpan di air tenang. Merdu didengar, indah dipandang, awaslah umpan di air tenang. Kasih dan budi bukan mainan, tergadai hati jiwa tebusan.
persembahan daripada pelajar Standby ya. Our media representative dah bersedia di hadapan. Announcing the arrival of yang pertama
kesejahteraan masa depan. Ayo kesejahteraan masa depan. Ayo seluruh anak bertivi, bangunkan Malaysia madani. Sepenuh hati, jiwa semangat, terus meyakini Malaysia madani. Ayo seluruh anak bertivi, semarakkan Malaysia madani. Sepenuh hati, jiwa semangat.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Fellow media representatives, you are invited to be seated at your place. Thank you. Mohon rakan-rakan media meninggalkan pentas bagi acara yang seterusnya. kasih atas persembahan yang memukau itu tadi. This performance was brought to you by student performers from the cultural centers of Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Universiti Malaya, Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia, and Universiti Teknologi Mara. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam Malaysia Madani. Yang berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri bin Abdul Qadir, Minister of Higher Education. Yang berhormat Senator Dr. Zulkifli bin Hasan, Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Religious Affairs. Yang berbahagia Datuk Seri Insinyur Dr. Zaini bin Ujang, Secretary General Ministry of Higher Education. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Azlinda binti Azman, Director General of Higher Education, members of the media, distinguished guests, and esteemed ladies and gentlemen. The International Young Future Leaders Summit iFUTURE 2024 is organized by the Ministry of Higher Education in collaboration with the Malaysian National Students Representative Council, MPPK. This summit aims to enhance the leadership, critical and strategic thinking, and communication skills among the young leaders. We have received participation from more than 1,000 participants from 47 different countries. Dan untuk itu, ayo kita dengarkan dari pelajar dari Malaysia. Tak cukup kuat, Malaysia. Dengan semangat bulan kemerdekaan, Malaysia. And also we would like to hear from the international students. Louder, please. Thank you. In this event, you can participate in a series of insightful forums and sharing sessions featuring over 20 national figures, each a leading expert in their field. Now let us together watch this video about the leadership quotes from our Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri bin Abdul Qadir, Minister of Higher Education.
Most important thing about being a good leader is treat everybody with kindness and respect and to listen to people. People want to be heard. And if people feel you're hearing them and you care about their ideas, they're more likely to want to work with you and be your teammate. And a lot of being a good leader really is just figuring out how you can get a team to work together. It's hard to do great things just by yourself. It's better when you're working with others.
Leader, you have to have 6 traits. Leader must have a vision. The second one, leader must be able to travel into an unexplored path. Third thing, leader must know how to manage success, most important, leader failure. Fourth point, leader must have courage to take decision. Fifth one, leader should have a nobility in management. Every action of the leader should be transparent. Leader should work with integrity and succeed with integrity.
How would you describe your leadership style?
Clear, decisive, purposeful.
Aggressive, confrontational.
I think there are times when if you're defending freedom, you have to confront those who are diminishing freedom. What does confrontational mean? It means you fight for what you believe against other people who believe something different.
Did you see yourself as a political revolution when you came to power?
Well, it depends what you mean by revolution. I was changing Britain. I was changing, and I hoped, to the very best of which it had been shown to be capable in the past, and on the very principles which allowed the talents and abilities of the British people to come up to greatness.
Pertama tanggungjawab pemimpin saya pun belajar dan cuba menjadi pemimpin yang baik. Ya, kalau dalam kaedahnya itu kita selalu popularkan taklif wala tashrif, responsibility and not a privilege.
Yang Berhormat Prime Minister and distinguished guests, we will continue the event by inviting Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Hadir, Minister of Higher Education Malaysia, to deliver the welcoming speech. Please welcome.
Terima kasih pengacara majlis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good evening. Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Malaysia Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian. Pertama sekali, izinkan saya mengalu-alukan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri ke sidang kemuncak pemimpin muda masa hadapan antarabangsa atau International Young Future Leaders Summit 2024. Bagi pihak KPE, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, saya juga mengalu-alukan pemimpin-pemimpin muda daripada 47 buah negara dan pemimpin muda Malaysia yang berhimpun selama 3 hari bagi mengadakan pertemuan yang akan membentuk pemimpin masa hadapan negara dan dunia. Ini adalah program yang julung kali diadakan dalam negara kita ketika mana Malaysia melakar perjalanan baru dalam menterjemahkan wawasan Malaysia Madani di bawah kepimpinan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri yang terrangkum di dalamnya, melahirkan kepimpinan peringkat global yang berasaskan kepada nilai-nilai akhlak, moral dan ihsan. Inspiring young leaders, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to the International Young Future Leaders Summit 2024. On behalf of the Ministry of Higher Education and the organizing committee, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you. Tonight, we gather here with one common purpose: to empower, inspire, and equip the young leaders of today and tomorrow. This summit is a unique platform where emerging leaders from around the world come together to share their vision, learn from each other, and collaborate on shaping a better future. Your presence here today signifies a commitment to leadership, innovation, and positive change. Throughout the summit, you will have the opportunity to engage in thought-provoking discussions, participate in interactive workshops, and network with peers and leaders from diverse backgrounds. I encourage you to make the most of these opportunities. Engage deeply, ask questions, share your insight, and build connection that will last beyond this summit. Ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this journey together, let us remember that the future is in our hands. The idea of action we cultivate here will shape the world we live in. I'm confident that each one of you has the potential to make a significant impact and drive positive change in your communities and beyond. Tonight, we are blessed to have our esteemed guest, none other than our Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who with us to share his invaluable sights and experiences with our young leaders. Our Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar, has long been a beacon of resilience and reform in Malaysian politics. In his early days, and indeed in his early years, he emerged as one of the country's most dynamic young leaders, championing causes that resonated with the youth and advocating for progressive change. His early leadership and activism laid a strong foundation for his enduring commitment to justice, democracy, and youth empowerment. We are indeed at a pivotal moment in history. The challenges we face, climate change, inequality, technological disruption, and social justice are complex and global in scope. But these challenges are not insurmountable. They are, in fact, opportunities for those who dare to dream and are willing to act. You, the young leaders of today, are not just the leaders for tomorrow. You are leaders right now. The decisions you make, the initiative you take, and the collaboration you forge here will echo far beyond this wall, impacting communities, industries, and society around the world. Yang Amat Berhormat, before I conclude, it is indeed a great pleasure to see young minds around the globe come together under one roof with a fresh perspective and fearlessness the world needs now. Your positiveness and energy may bring the changes and make difference in the global fight to end poverty, reduce inequality, and save our planet, the sustainable development goals. And your impact is especially great in the Asia-Pacific region, which is home to almost 60% of young people worldwide. Your vision, creativity, and hard work matters for our future. I firmly believe your generation will generate the course of history. Finally, I wish you all and this summit every success. Have fun and continue to inspire us with your insight and ideas. Once again, on behalf of the committee, I would like to welcome to the International Young Future Leaders Summit 2024. Terima kasih. Thank you.
A heartfelt thank you to Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Pembukaan, Minister of Higher Education. Distinguished guests, next, please enjoy this specially curated video displaying the transformative leadership of our esteemed Yang Berhormat Prime Minister.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim received his secondary education at the prestigious Malay College Kuala Kangsar from 1960 to 1969. His leadership shined brightly and served as head student here. He later polished his leadership skill as a student at University of Malaya between 1968 and 1971. He actively championed society-related issues locally and globally. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim leads sincerely, willing to sacrifice all for the betterment of the society. He joined politics in 1982, enhancing his medium of contribution, and was appointed as Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports in 1983. He also served as Minister of Agriculture in 1984. His leadership talent continued to be recognized nationally and was appointed as the Education Minister in 1986. In 1991, he was appointed as the Minister of Finance, who led through a period of significant economic growth and was later appointed as the Deputy Prime Minister in 1993. As true altruistic leader that shines from his days as a student, destined to lead this blessed nation.
Thank you for the insightful presentation, explaining Yang Berhormat Prime Minister's journey from a student leader to the Prime Minister of Malaysia. We hope the presentation provides inspiration and insight to all of you, our future leaders. Yang Berhormat Prime Minister and distinguished guests, now the long-awaited moment has arrived. Without further ado, we respectfully invite Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver his speech and inaugurate the International Future iFUTURE 2024. With great honor, we invite the Prime Minister to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil karim. Saudara Zamri Abdul Kadir, Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi, Dr. Zul, Timbalan Menteri, KSU, KPP, dan Naib Chancellor, Profesor yang hadir, dan yang pentingnya anak-anak yang dikasihi sekalian. Saya turut bersyukur Allah SWT dan berbangga dengan semangat yang anak-anak tunjukkan berinteraksi seperti mana ikut nasihat Bapak Zamri sebentar tadi. Bagaimana kita harus gunakan ruang ini sebaik mungkin, memanfaatkan waktu, mengikat silaturahim, menimba pengalaman teman-teman, tetapi pertahankan semangat cita-cita murni dan adilisme. Apa arti hidup tanpa pegangan, tanpa prinsip, tanpa nilai? Apa arti kekayaan, apa arti ilmu kalau tidak dijadikan nilai yang baik itu sebagai paksi? So my sons and daughters, let me begin by reminding you and reiterating a fact that you are familiar with. Sometimes when I was a student leader or young activist, including Zamri, who had a stint of imprisonment under the Internal Security Act, we sometimes are not too keen to listen to lectures lamenting the past and giving unsolicited advice. So I'm not going to repeat that. I'm talking about love, a subject which is very important to the young and at oftentimes even to the old. William Wordsworth, famous English poet in the Romantic period, explained about the beauty, the passion that will not remain, that will be lost in the pace of time. This is something that we have to acknowledge. The only permanent feature is probably a river. Men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. The river. Although sometimes in this challenge of climate change, the river can be dry. But a more pertinent poem by Wordsworth talk about the beauty, and I will relate to the love story among the young. And remember, this happens only once in your lifetime. The teenager, the young activist, so utilize this to your utmost. Learn, have the patience, have the tenacity of purpose, have the conviction that things must change through your understanding and your love for justice and your principled stance in life. Independent mind, critical thinking, not becoming and willing to become lackeys of any groups, but to be independent, to be able to assess for yourself through knowledge, through understanding, and not through cheap, incessant propaganda. Again, go back to Wordsworth. This period is important. Your period, I've lost it. I've transcended beyond that now. I'm no longer a young man. But I can lament about the past. And to remind you, use this opportunity. Learn as much, interact, but remain steadfast in your belief, humanity, compassion, freedom, and justice. Because these are universal traits that is sometimes lost because of opportunism, because of sectarianism, chauvinism, and religious bigotry or fanaticism. So remember, once you pass the 30s and the 40s, you may lament the past, which you have lost. So I want to remind you, so that you will not regret. What though the radiance which was once so bright be forever taken from my sight? Remember, of course he's talking about affection and love and beauty. What though the radiance which was once so bright be forever taken from my sight, gone forever. So remind you to come back, to utilize that time where the radiance remain bright. You are still youthful, full of energy, for love of scholarship, idealism, which sometimes will not be there. The stigma among the young, among the older generation. Another stanza by Wordsworth. The glory that was once in the flower, the splendor in the grass, are but dreams in summer. The glory that was once in the flower, the splendor in the grass, are but dreams in summer. So, I want to start with that notion. Use that splendor in the grass. Use the time and utilize the glory that is still there in the flower. Because when you pass that age, you will then have to repeat Wordsworth all in the past. Remember the first stanza? What though the radiance which was once so bright be forever taken from my sight? The glory that was once in the flower, the splendor in the grass, about dreams in summer. No, I recollected for long, after a long period, so it may not be in exact sequence. But that happens to be one of the poems that I wrote to Aziza before we got married. And you see, the romantic, those romantic period is important. No, I'm serious, it's true. You can ask her. That's why she could not avoid but to fall in love. Because when I wrote it to her, quoting Wordsworth, I was still Abim president. So she said, amazing. Then I could still quote a love poem to her. No, but what is important in this context, which I address to my sons and daughters, is that to utilize this time. Not everyone, we have millions of students, hundreds of millions in this region. Not everyone will have this opportunity to interact, to get to know one another, to experience the exchanges and learn about the other. This is where we differ. Why do you fight the colonial masters? Why do you reject that notion of condescending exploitation and demeaning and demeanor by expressing such disgust towards the other? So when we fight colonialism in the Philippines, Indonesia against the Dutch, the Philippines initially against the Spanish, then the Americans, the Vietnamese against the French, and then later against the Americans, the Algerians against the French, the Italians against the Italians, the Indians against the British. Because we want to affect change and ensure that we have a better deal. Those of you in this region who are familiar with Jose Rizal, whom I consider as the precursor of Asian Renaissance. Jose Rizal wrote about the indolence of the Filipinos, because that is what the Spanish masters tell them. What the colonial mind say, that the indigenous tribes are indolent, lazy. Then he said, what about the great trading nation that was once ours? What about a system in place engaging with our neighbors? So it can't be pure laziness. Here in Malaysia, we have a brilliant study by one of our known sociologists, Professor Hussein Alatas, who talks about the myth of the lazy native. to the extent that intellectuals, post-independence intellectuals, would subscribe to the idea that the indigenous tribe are essentially lazy. So strong was the propaganda, incessant propaganda, the indoctrination by the colonial masters, that we finally have to accept and adopt. This is consistent with the theory expounded by Ibrahim ibn Khaldun in the Muqaddimah, where he talked about a society after a period of decay, taken over by a more compelling, successful civilization, would invariably affect those colonized or weaker countries or tribes by, whilst rejecting the colonial rule or alien power, would still subscribe and unwittingly adopt many of their beliefs and customs and cultures. Now, my thesis, therefore, is for the young to assert your identity, to believe that we have the capacity only if we have the resolve, to be fiercely independent, to learn from the East or the West, but not to be subjected to the ideas, policies of our former colonial masters. And this is precisely the role of the young. The challenges are different, of course, but you must start with certain core pillars of belief. To be independent, to assert your own identity, to have faith on your faith and moral values, and to promote compassion and justice within our societies. How many of us, after being independent half a century or three-quarter of a century, still are subjected to a narrow, obscure, racist, chauvinistic ideas? Understanding religion, be it Islam or Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism, not in terms of their message to humanity, but an obscure, exclusivist ideas that would reject the other. So post-independence, Myanmar or India, or even Malaysia at times, or Indonesia, or the Philippines, you still have problems confronting our societies between the majority and the minority, different religious denominations or tribes. And this issue must be addressed. You are here, majority Muslims, of course, that you have Hindus, Buddhists, Christians. Do you want, therefore, to acknowledge the fact that it is there for lita'arafu, to understand, appreciate, and know one another? Or to continue to sow the seed of discord? So my first point is about to utilize your time. They have a purpose in life. Second is to remain steadfast to your ideals. Reassertion our belief and moral values, and protect our independence, and not to be subjected by any alien rule. not only in terms of physical military power, but in the realm of ideas. And my third point, of course, to address issues confronting us. The issue of race or religion or digitalization or AI or climate change is not an issue that the leaders of our countries have to address. The issues that we have to address together. Because in many countries, even in Malaysia, sometimes our leaders fail. You give them the mandate. All the powers necessary. And oftentimes, it was used to enrich themselves, their children, and their cronies. Rampant corruption, moral degradation. You continue to grapple with the problem of abject poverty in the midst of plenty. Countries are rich with resources and, of course, industrial development. But a segment of our population remain poor and marginalized. The youth must stand and speak up and champion the cause of humanity. The sufferings of our people, the marginalized, the poor, are our problem, our concern. The destruction of the environment, the corruption in our midst are our concern, and we must stand up and speak. Based on certain principles and values. But that's why I emphasized in the beginning the need to understand and learn, and not to become mere lackeys or agents by any particular group. You must have this understanding. Our society requires energetic youth with ideas, with ideals and principles, who believe in freedom, who believe in justice, who believe in humanity. And together, we can affect change. It is important to understand this basic notion, because we have student activism, but sometimes they can be as corrupt as their elders. We have student leaders, but oftentimes they become part and parcel of a racist regime. We have societies even involved in some religious activities, but they become to support the most orthodox, intolerant form of religious belief. This is what I mean, not what we mean by youth activism. This is a form of mental corruption, which the young must understand and must have the resolve, as I said, tenacity of purpose and courage of conviction to change. So share your knowledge. Interact as much as possible. Act wisely. Work diligently. Learn as much. If in my period when I was young, we have to learn much. Comes to you, you have to learn much more. Because in the post-normal period, the demand is certainly more challenging in new areas of discipline, unprecedented, and in terms of the pace of change is with a speed that is unheard of before. But you ask me, you still will determine the future. So our duty, if in Malaysia, for example, that's why I commend Zamri for taking this initiative and supporting your initiative to make in this period. Because what choice do we have? What choice do we have? Do you want to leave politics, policies, and the future with the state of affairs? The answer is, of course, unequivocal, is no. You are truly youthful with aspirations, with idealism, then you must accept the fact that idealism means clamoring for change, wanting to be more effective, wanting to do better. That's the idealism of youth. Youth is not judged only in terms of your age, but your tenacity, purpose, your idealism. What's so youthful with a youth who protects the corrupt and condone racist ideology or religious fanaticism? Where are your ideals? Where's your humanity? So, youth, the characteristics of youth, it's principled stance. Believing in ideals, idealism. That's why you talk about idealism of youth. Wanting to do better and struggling, and no way will you condone ignorance and injustice and inhumanity. So that's my central message. Beginning with William Wordsworth, remember? But though the radiance which was once so bright be forever taken from my sight, the glory that was once in the flower, the splendor in the grass, they are all dreams in summer. It will pass. So when now, my children, sons and daughters, remember, utilize, do your utmost. Believe that, inshallah, you can do it because, not only because you're young, because you stand for certain principles and values. And that's more important in this period of so much hypocrisy and contradictions in our society and in the global community. That's why when dealing with issue of Gaza, for example, I lament. No, it doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim or Christian or Buddhist, whatever. They are, of course, in Gaza, majority Muslim, but they are Christians. But how is it the world, with all this level of sophistication, of talking about democratic ideals, of human rights, and suddenly you see, without exception, on a daily basis, babies shot, women killed, now male prisoner raped, and this is tolerant. What sort of society do you believe? Do you believe in this sort of ideas of your elders? No. Sheer hypocrisy, and this hypocrisy must be rejected at all costs. So, this is my message to iFUTURE 2024. Have that belief and conviction. We want a better Malaysia. We want a better Southeast Asia. We want a better ASEAN and Asia and the world. And who would determine the future is you, my sons and daughters. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We kindly request Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister to remain on stage to officiate the launching of iFUTURE. Thank you to Yang Amat Berhormat Dr. Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, for launching this ceremony. We invite Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister and distinguished guests to kindly take their seats for the montage video viewing. For your information, this logo was created by the students from Malaysia National Representative Council, Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the video. Thank you for the montage video. Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially conclude our event today, we are going to present the last performance from UKM, UM, UPSI, USIM, UITM, and UPM. Please enjoy.
jalan dia? Nak saya tutup jalan? Nak saya tutup jalan? Oh, jangan tutup jalan. Tes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Tolong sekali lagi?
Boleh.
Buat kali kedua tolong.
Okey.
Belum pergi, letak dulu. Belum pergi.
Selamat pagi.
Letak je bawah.
Datuk Seri abang sorry abang. Abang sorry abang. Abang sorry.
Satu soalan. Okay, we try.
Mana bang? Okay, sama.
Terima kasih Nani.
Sama-sama.
Lama tak bersama dengan anda.
Itulah tu.
Bila dapat keluar sekali lagi ya?
Jom buat.